Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Joe Hindy, the Android Authority app guy, and it's about that time of year to round up the best new Android games that were released in 2016. If you want to check out any of these games for yourself, you can find those links in the video description below. Overlooks Constellations is an atmospheric puzzle game that takes place in space. It features slower mechanics that focus more on chilling out rather than fast-paced action. Your task will be to grow your planet to be larger than all of the other players. The game features 150 levels, full Android TV support, various modes and maps, online multiplayer support, and more. It's a bit expensive at $9.99, but you can download the game for free and play it a little bit before deciding to drop the money. Asphalt Xtreme is the latest racing game from Gameloft. Unlike prior titles in the series, Xtreme features off-road vehicles along with off-road tracks. Currently, the game has 35 vehicles, although we expect that number to grow over time. Like other games in the series, you'll have access to online multiplayer mode. It's a good-looking game with simple mechanics that also works as a great time waster for racing fans. It's a freemium game, which is the worst part about it, but it's still pretty fun. Clash Royale is the big Supercell released from the last year. Thankfully, they actually did a pretty good job. Clash Royale is a card-based PvP game where you duel against other players. Much like other Supercell games, there is a ranking system where you improve by beating other players. You can also form clans, share cards, and earn various rewards for playing the game. It's intensely popular, which means you'll have opponents to play pretty much all the time. It's freemium, which does suck, but at least its social features are really strong. Don't Starve bills itself as an uncompromising wilderness survival game. Your job will be to explore the world, finding various things, defending yourself, and staying alive. The game has charming graphics, an open world to explore, and some of that classic indie developer quirk. It also has some popular features like an offline mode so you can play the game even without a web connection. It's a pay-once game so you won't be bugged by in-app purchases. The only downside is that the controls aren't quite as good as the PC version, but really, who expected that anyway? Exploding Kittens is a card game that was originally funded on Kickstarter. The basic premise is that everybody plays cards and draws until you get an exploding kitten card. If you don't have a diffuse card, you lose the game. The winner is the last player standing. It features online playing capabilities for up to 5 players. You can also get the base game for $1.99 and buy additional content for the game through in-app purchases. It was one of the most funded mobile games on Kickstarter for a reason, and it's because it's fun. Square Enix released a ton of good games this year. Final Fantasy IX is pretty much as good as it gets. It's a complete port of the original PlayStation version for those who are interested. Along with the 25+ hour storyline, you'll have copious numbers of side quests to do and plenty of places to explore. The port also includes add-ons that make you practically invincible and rich if you just want to play through the storyline. It's insanely expensive at $20.99, but it does go on sale fairly often and there are no in-app purchases. Never Alone Kai Edition is a puzzle platformer with a fun little storyline. You play as a girl and her pet fox. You control both characters and use them to overcome obstacles you normally wouldn't be able to with one character. The game also comes with tons of lore, decent graphics, and plenty of other goodies. It's relatively inexpensive with no in-app purchases, and those who have an Nvidia Shield tablet or Android TV can get a slightly better version of the game for a little more money. Pinout is a fun little pinball game in a market that doesn't have a lot of good pinball games. Pinout is a hybrid of an arcade pinball game and an infinite runner. You'll be launching the ball through various obstacles for as long as humanly possible. It looks good and the controls are pretty easy to learn. What makes this game special is that it's a pay-once game in a genre that is dominated by freemium titles. It's a good time killer that won't bug you to spend even more money. Pokemon Go did something that no other mobile game before it was able to do. It caused such a stir that people hated it on principle just because they hate popular things. It broke many mobile gaming records, including most active users. In case you've been living under a rock, Pokemon Go is a game where you use your GPS to go hunt and capture Pokemon in the real world. Even if you hate the idea of it, no one can deny how unique it really was. It used your GPS, Bluetooth, camera, and mobile connections in ways that no other game has, and that includes Ingress, which made it a truly mobile game. It was a cultural phenomenon, and as it turns out, it was pretty fun and unique. Riptide GP Renegade was one of the best racing games released in 2016. It features wave runners instead of cars, and the developers did a great job integrating the waves into the mechanics of the game. The story goes that you're a racer who got busted doing an illegal street race. You must race your way back up through the underground and back into the GP circuit. It's an inexpensive pay-once game with no in-app purchases and a lot of replay value. It also has online multiplayer modes if you're into that. Super Phantom Cat is a platformer where you play as a cat that jumps on platforms. It takes a lot of its inspiration from the 8-bit and 16-bit games of old, so you'll likely see a number of themes from your favorite old platformers. That includes things like disappearing platforms, collecting coins, and tons of bad guys to jump on or over. It's a free-to-play game with a single in-app purchase. Technically, that makes it a freemium game, but it's about as inoffensive of a freemium game as it gets. The Room 3 is the latest release of one of the best puzzle game franchises in all of mobile gaming. This iteration surpassed its predecessors by being larger and longer than before. On top of that, there are various endings to play through, which adds a surprising amount of replay value. It also supports cloud saving and redesigned touch controls from the previous games. For $1.99, you really can't do much better than this one. The 4.9 out of 5-star rating on Google Play also makes it the highest rated major game release this year. Titan Quest was originally a PC game that was released in 2006. It's been remastered and it's now on Android. With this game, you'll get a huge hack-and-slash adventure game with tons of stuff to do. It boasts 30 character classes, an open world, and a redesigned gameplay to work better on touchscreens. The developers boast a 60-hour playtime along with no advertising and no in-app purchases. This is one of the precious few open-world RPGs that isn't a freemium game, and it's definitely worth a shot. ZenJiz is an atmospheric puzzle game that does things a little bit differently. It doesn't keep score, there is no timer, no leaderboards, no stars to earn, and there isn't even a tutorial. You'll jump right in, figure everything out on your own, and then progress at your own pace. The game tells a story of a character named Eon who was trapped between worlds. Your goal is to solve all of the puzzles and find out what happened. It's one of the most relaxing games released this year. Crashlands is simply a masterpiece. For those who haven't tried it, you play as an intergalactic trucker who is stranded on a planet after being attacked. Your job is to build a base, fight off bad guys, and explore the planet. It's a rather large planet with tons of bad guys and resources for you to acquire. You then use those things to craft various items and build your home base. It features 500 craftable items, a self-managing infinite inventory, RPG elements for character progression, creatures that you can tame, and even a decent combat system. There is even cloud saving mixed with cross-platform support, so you can play the same save file on PC or mobile. It's pretty much everything that people have been asking for in a mobile game. A story, tons of content, and a huge open world. The best part is that it's reasonably priced at $4.99 with no in-app purchases. There really isn't anything to hate about this game, and it checks virtually every box that we could think of. That's why it's our pick for the best Android game released in 2016. And that about does it for this one, folks. If you want to keep watching, we have more best Android app and game lists linked up there on the screen and in the video description below. Don't forget that you can check out any of these games yourself using the links in the video description below, and keep it tuned to Android Authority because we are your source for all things Android. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a wonderful day.